The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, 1 hour to go until the opening bell, and we have markets yet again escalating to the downside. S&P's right now negative by about 40 points, trading at 3,070. You have the Dow off 367 points right now, 26,547. We're now about 3,000 points in the Dow, below the highs that we made just basically last week. You have the NASDAQ off 135 points at 87.15. We've got oil off $1.39. Oil right now trading with a 47 handle, 47.33, and we're going to start things off with the chart of the S&P. There's your all-time high. It's remarkable that I put this on a 15-minute chart on the Thinkorswim platform. It loads you back about 5 days, and we're at all-time highs within that 5-day chart, 33.97. But boy, oh boy, has it been quite a 5 days indeed. To put it in full context, that was Wednesday evening at about 8 o'clock. Even if you back it up exactly a week ago to Thursday morning at 10:30, we were trading at about 33.88. We're now 320 points exactly below that level, 3,072. Right now, we made it to a low of 3,059 at one point overnight at about midnight exactly. Jumping over to the other charts this morning, we'll start it off with the Dow. Dow Jones, 26,570. I'm going to pull up a chart right after this to show you kind of where that Dow has been. We're now back 2 years in the Dow. The Dow really pulling back much more so than the S&P and the NASDAQ overall, talking about much longer time frame, but pretty remarkable. I pulled that up this morning. January of 2018, we're back to. We'll jump over to that chart after we wrap up the market recap. S&P 500, 3,070, as I mentioned, was down there at about 3,059 right at midnight. NASDAQ 100 trading at 87.16. For some context, yesterday we were up there at 9,036. So you're talking about 320 points from the midday high we had in the NASDAQ 100 just yesterday. Crude oil market, talk about a slide. You back it up to yesterday's midday high as well. We were at $50.42. Pretty remarkable. $3 we're now off from that level, 47.28. Also, we got EIA inventories yesterday. The market was looking for a build of between 1 to 2 million barrels. We only got a build of about 600,000 barrels. Usually, that would cause prices to trade higher. Less supply in the market, but this market all about the coronavirus right now, 47.30. Gold contract, 16.52. For some context as well, since we put everything else in that context, the low yesterday as gold was trading inverse with the market, 16.28. The high recently, 16.91 in gold on Sunday night. And the euro-US dollar, quite a trend, 109.62. Putting this on a little bit longer time frame, you see that turnaround. Thursday, 2 a.m., we were trading at 107.85. We've now shot straight up to 109.62. In terms of what else happening around the market, you got to make note of it because this story coming out right last night. So the president holds a press conference, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. He, among other things, puts Vice President Pence in charge of the coronavirus response, answers questions, says many other things. Nonetheless, merely minutes after that press conference is finished, the CDC confirms the first possible community transmission of the coronavirus. You have a patient in California, and that talking about basically that they got the coronavirus from an unknown origin. That could be a possible community spread, as they call it. Basically meaning people are walking around that we can't even trace back to China or trace back to another known case, and they are testing positive. Minutes before I came on this program, got an update on my phone as well saying that that specific patient, doctors were trying to get that patient tested for a couple days, and they were unable to get that patient tested because of the regulations federally that I guess they had to go through. Not good signs. The market taking that and running with it last night. So to jump over, as I mentioned, here's your S&P. Now, jumping to the Dow, because not a lot of people would realize the type of carnage we've had. Now, that's just going back the 5 days. That doesn't get us back actually to the full high, which is back in the Dow at around February 12th. 29,543, actually made it down to 26,462, that overnight low at about midnight. Now, you put this on a 3-year weekly, just remarkable where we've been. Now, putting in context, 26,462, folks, you back it up to the week of January 22nd, and we're trading at 25,944 to a high of 26,608. We're right. The high, 26,608. We just got below that level. We're back almost to a 2017 price point. Now, that would be getting down below 25,000 because of the run-up you had in January to start that. But remarkable. 2 years, more than 2 years shaved off that Dow. Now, S&Ps, a little bit different story. You pull up the S&Ps for some context. There's your drop. Now, to put it back, the high around January, we're talking about 2876. So you're almost 200 points still above that price level. S&Ps, quite a run, have not pulled back to that level. And NASDAQ, even more stark when you back it up. You can see that high in 2018 was actually 7,034, so 1,600 NASDAQ 100 points. As the NASDAQ, as we're all somewhat familiar, has really just plowed ahead of these markets when you get those FANG stocks and the effect that it's had. Other news stories out there? Why not? Durable goods coming out right at 8:30 a.m. Gotta love that when we get some economic news as the program begins. So durable goods slipping 2.9% in January. Big ticket manufactured goods dipped in January. Orders were pulled down by decreased demand for cars, auto parts, and military aircraft. They had climbed 2.9% in December. And excluding volatile transportation orders, durable goods rose 0.9%. Fastest growth since April of 2018. Economists had expected a bigger drop in overall orders of durable goods, so they were looking for a durable goods orders bigger than that, which are items such as appliances, industrial machinery meant to last at least 3 years. American industry had been hobbled over the past year by those tariffs, of course. They're getting into some tech, just analysis. So orders for computers up 8% and orders for machinery up 2.1%. Nonetheless, jumping back to the market, seeing if there's any reaction. Not really. I mean, there's your S&P drilling it down. I think we're in 5-minute charts. We are in 5-minute charts. 3,068, right near the lows we had at 820 of 3,061. Again, that low last night of about 3,059 in the S&Ps. Jumping over to the VIX this morning. As you'd expect, 31.28, some volatility. Now, this is a 3-year weekly, but good to put things in context anyway. You see that we're now back to, now, if you recall, that was the Christmas Eve market fall apart in 2018. We've spiked in a VIX on that pullback to 36.20, and if you go back to the beginning of 2018, we actually spiked to above 50. But putting this on a shorter time frame, you see the acceleration. I mean, we're making all-time high, recent highs, as in above where we were on Tuesday, which was 30.25. Now trading at 31.18, and as it should be, we're talking about 3,000 Dow points in almost a week. VIX at 31.19. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be coming back, talking about what else we have on tap for the day. Stay tuned, folks. Markets in negative territory. We'll be right back.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the tax opportunity zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
The
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The Gold Report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-Shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We have the Dow right now, negative 377 points, 26,547. S&P's negative by 40 right now. And we're going to start things off with that 10-year yield, quite a number, under 1.3% now, making all-time record lows as we speak, basically. You have the 10-year sitting 1.279%, 1.279% on that 10-year. You're probably likely to see mortgage rates be at all-time lows the next time we get a number for them. You're talking about 3.25% to 3.5% is bound to be your range. Somewhere in that, maybe slightly higher, depending on your credit, as that mortgage market is going to be helped by a 10-year with record lows, 1.279, to say it one more time. Pretty incredible the run that's at. Coronavirus updates. So possible community spread in U.S. We talked about that. Another one out here that's just a kind of a stark demonstration of the types of impact, the type of impact across the globe that you're going to start to see potentially as this spreads to potential countries. Japan closing all schools for basically a month, and that's the start of it. So to get down to the headline, I believe we're going to get it. There we go. Japan's Abe to ask schools to close from March 2nd through to spring break. Spring break, they mentioned down here, basically typically ends around the end of March. So you can consider it March closing of all schools, elementary, junior, and high school for an entire month in the month of Japan. If that type of effect comes to America, there's going to be a dramatic impact of anything like that. A month, 2 months, you're talking about kids home from school. Do parents have the ability to go to work when that happens? How does that play out? Do they stay home from work? Do they have to add costs of childcare, along with many other impacts for the economy, not to mention just in terms of affecting people's lives? So a stark reminder of what could be on the horizon there as you have Japan basically closing down all schools for a month. And I would say that a month to begin with. I would be hard-pressed to see how that plays out towards the end of March if this is still persisting, especially in Japan, as a dramatic story. Iran's health minister confirms 245 cases, death toll at 26. Tom was talking about this yesterday. Pretty remarkable in Iran. You had the deputy health minister couple days ago saying that they had it under control. He had the coronavirus himself, was sick at the podium. So not sure you can trust everything coming out of Iran. Same with China. Other stories out there, graphically putting this on, confirmed cases in China, confirmed cases outside of China. You see the blue area of that chart ticking up as time has proceeded, and confirmed cases outside of China, and then putting into the U.S. Still a sliver of what's going on in the rest of the globe. China's central bank very worried about the impact on global economy, I'm sure, as they're worried about their own economy as well, that headline. And we talked about this. So the CDC confirming the first possible community transmission in the U.S. That driving, I'd say, a lot of the extending losses this morning. Is this becoming a real threat? You have somebody out there, as you really get into the details, as I mentioned, the patient did not have a relevant travel history or exposure to another patient. Well, we know they had to be exposed to another patient, right? That means that people are walking around unaccounted for in society with an incubation period. Not to send fear waves through it, we'll be okay. But this has a very distinct possibility of hitting the U.S. The fact that this headline comes out literally minutes after the president has a press conference last night, live on all networks, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, and this information is not contained in there, I would be very skeptical about what's coming out, even from our own administration with that type. I was shocked to see that this news bit, which is obviously a pertinent news bit of the relative nature of what's going on right now for the coronavirus in our country, that story breaking literally minutes after the president's press conference ending. Dow set to report on that first case. As we talked about, you have former FDA chief calling for greater investment from medical research. Total confirmed cases now 81,400. Total deaths 2,770. I believe you had Congress asking for $7.5 or $8.5 billion to address this. I believe the president's number was $2.5 billion. Hopefully they spend whatever they need to spend to make sure that we are prepared. Goldman, quite a headline here as well. Zero earnings growth for U.S. companies this year because of the coronavirus. Now, you have a market that was trading at not all-time highs, but very all-time high multiples, very recently at least all-time high multiples. And then you're going to see no earnings growth coming up this year at all for U.S. companies. Earnings estimate for the year for U.S. companies, $165 per share, 0% growth in 2020. Dramatic move from the consensus. Forecasts still expect earnings to climb 7% this year. So that's the consensus. But Goldman saying, no, how about not 7%? How about zero? How about no growth at all? Our reduced profit forecasts reflect the severe decline in Chinese economic activity in first quarter, lower end demand for U.S. exporters, disruption to the supply chain from many U.S. firms, a slowdown in U.S. economic activity, and elevated business uncertainty. If you're following the markets, if you're following the headlines, all of that should make sense. The remarkable thing, it seems like this is all getting priced into the market over the span of about 4 or 5 days. The Wall Street firm revised its earnings estimate for the year to 165. They had been at 174, 0%, no earnings growth in 2020. And I thought they had some growth numbers in there. Yeah, the firm expects $175 per share in 2021. So they're going to kick it back up next year, maybe just a one-year blip. One other thing mentioned in that press conference last night, I caught some of it, not all of it, was that the idea of a vaccine being super expedited, almost to address this concern if it does hit the U.S., seemed to be said that it may take longer than that. 3 months, 4 months, vaccines, even at a pace that is as fast as possible, which hopefully they are doing, which they say they are doing, not something that gets done in a matter of a couple weeks to push to trials. So this being something that maybe, if this becomes a seasonal issue, they will have something next year, but not on the first go around. And so you still may see those types of impacts like Japan, basically shutting down schools for a month. And I don't know how that would play out in America with the impact that it has of no children being in school and how that might impact people in work, let alone if they're cutting down on people at work, kids at school. Does that mean that they're closing down a lot of people's job functions, being that people conglomerating in any space, right? We have Disney here. We have Busch Gardens. We have, not to mention, just being out and about at movie theaters and so forth. Let's segue that over to Disney. Disney getting hurt in this recently. $123.36 closed yesterday. You're going to open about $3 from that price level, putting Disney on a little bit longer time frame. A remarkable run up. I think they'll be fine in the long run. If you want to be a buyer, you're right in the middle of this huge gap here. Maybe you can wait till the bottom. Maybe you want to price into that with like half a position or something like that, because quite a haircut from 153. You're going to open at 120. You're talking about 20% now Disney is off from that high. And to put things in real context, you get back to this high here, which is about 117. That's living in a world where nobody knew what Disney was going to do with their Disney Plus streaming service. This gap represents the time where they announced that it was going to be $6 a month, which the market just loved. They're going to undercut Netflix. They're going to try and bring people on. You think about how many details we've gotten from Disney since that time. Their streaming service, they launch it right here. They tell us right here in November that they already have 10 million people. They tell us that they have 26.5 million people when they come out with earnings, and we're back to almost before that even existed. Now, a real effect on the parks, a real effect on movies, people attending movies, movies getting done, but Disney, we'll see what happens. Trading at about 120 this morning. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back to wrap up the program. 3 minutes.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as a #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. Markets right where we started off the program. Dow down about 370 points. S&P's negative by about 40. I'm going to jump to Bitcoin for a moment. Quite a trend we've had, as you've seen a lot of things sell off. You really haven't seen gold spike to new highs as the market has traded so low, why don't we even just jump to gold for a moment while we talk about it? Because gold, as markets spiked lower Sunday night, you had gold at $16.91. Now gold has held up relatively well, but you haven't seen it make that spike high above this as markets have retreated. Another investable commodity, investable currency, I guess we'll call it a currency, that you might have seen a different way, is that I'm surprised to see Bitcoin was above 10,000 on the Sunday, but you've actually seen Bitcoin fade. I mean, I thought it might be one thing as really pandemic breaks out, right? Maybe cryptocurrency, if you're over in one of these countries, you might want to put your money into Bitcoin. Not really happening. Bitcoin falling from 10,000 to 8,500 up to 8,840 right now for Bitcoin. Other stocks making moves this morning. You had Microsoft coming out last night after the bell. You see the acceleration guiding down that they will not meet their guidance because of the coronavirus. Microsoft going to open $6 in the red this morning. You have Etsy shares trading higher on their earnings. One of the bright spots closed at $50.69, up at $55.20. You also had Square out with their numbers trading higher this morning, $80.90, closed at $76.59. And jumping around to some of the stocks with action, Amazon shares looking to open about $19.42. And boy, how about these cruise lines? RCL, Royal Caribbean, opening lower. CCL, I believe that's Carnival. Yes, opening lower at, opening lower, $32.98. The charts on these cruise companies. We'll see, longer term, when this all gets quelled out, it may be okay, but it may be a tough year, even year or two, as booking a cruise, not something many people are doing right now. I appreciate you joining me, folks. Larry Pesavento coming up live at 9. And I'll be back at 10 o'clock with Tom. Wasn't sure if I heard that music. Should be an interesting day in the markets as you got the Dow off 375. We got 30 minutes until the opening. How does this happen? What plays out on the open? Stay tuned, folks. Larry Pesavento coming up live right now. We'll be right back.